Insects. Out of all the arthropods, you can identify insects by counting their body sections and legs. Insects are arthropods with 3 body sections, 6 legs, 1 pair of antennae, and usually 1 or 2 pair of wings. The 3 body sections are the head, thorax, and abdomen. The head contains the insect's sense organs, such as the eyes and the antenna. Usually, insects have 2 large compound eyes, which are especially keen at seeing movement. The insect's midsection, or the thorax, is the section in which the wings and legs are attached. Most species of insects can fly once they are adults. Insects are the only invertebrates that can fly. The abdomen contains the insect's internal organs. Small holes on the outside of the abdomen lead to a system of tubes inside the insect. These tubes allow oxygen to enter the body and move directly into the insect's cells. Insects obtain food using their mouth parts. An insect's mouth parts are adapted for a highly specific way of getting food. Some insects, including grasshoppers, use mandibles to handle, bite, and chew their food, such as leaves. Other insects have mouth parts that are fused together into a sucking tube, such as the butterfly's proboscis. Some insects, such as flies, lap up their food. During their development, many insects undergo metamorphosis. This is a process in which their body form changes from the sexually immature to the mature stage. Insects that undergo complete metamorphosis have an adult stage that looks and functions very differently from the larva. During complete metamorphosis, an insect goes through 4 different stages: the egg, larva, pupa, then adult. To begin, the eggs hatch into larvae, and then the larvae, such as the caterpillars of butterflies, usually look like worms. These larvae are specialized for eating and growing, and after a time will enter the next stage of the process and become the pupa. As the pupa, the insect is enclosed in a protective covering, and during this stage, major changes are happening to the body structure. When the insect's development is complete, an adult will crawl out of the pupal case and unfurl its wings and fly away to a new location to start reproducing. In some insects, the change from juvenile to adult is not very dramatic and is called incomplete metamorphosis. Incomplete metamorphosis has no distinct larval stage. An egg will hatch into a stage called a nymph, which usually looks like an adult insect without wings. The nymph molts several times before becoming an adult. Dragonflies, grasshoppers, and cockroaches are examples that go through incomplete metamorphosis. Insects play key roles in food chains because of the many ways they obtain food and then become food for other animals. However, insects interact with living things in other ways, such as moving pollen from flower to flower, or negatively spreading disease to other organisms. Bees, beetles, and other insects pollinate the majority of flowering plants, allowing them to reproduce and bear fruit. Some insects that are carriers of disease affect humans by spreading viruses, for example, the West Nile virus that can cause encephalitis or meningitis. Entomologists also study the biology of insects to focus on developing ways to control the number of insects, especially the ones that cause harm, which we call pests. To control pests, people use chemicals, traps, and living things, including other insects. For example, ladybugs are released as a biological control agent against aphids, which are pests that destroy crops.